to another edition of the Mss Francois Show, where we have candid conversation, a variety of entertainment, and we and I help you with your dysfunctional relationship. Today, we have a doctor in the house. She's a neuropathic award-winning fertility doctor. Okay, practicing for over 15 years, helping couples create their dream family without drugs and injections. Let me tell you, this episode is more for me because I have like 2 more eggs left, okay? And you know when you're about over 35, everyone in your family to ask you when you're going to get pregnant. And I had to get a man first. I don't want to sperm out the sperm bank. So doctor, gonna tell me and tell you all what we need to do to get pregnant like yesterday. Welcome, doctor.
Thanks for having me, Miss Francois.
Just tell me how I need to put my leg up in the sky, what position I need to be in, because I need to get pregnant tonight.
You know.
But I know you. One of the things that keeps coming up is you say holistic fertility. People throw around the word holistic all the time. Can you just tell me exactly what holistic means?
Yeah, holistic for me really means treating the whole person. So we want to talk about your physical body, but also your mental, emotional body and your spiritual body. So it's got to be all of it. And in the context of fertility, honestly, it's like the woman and the partner, right? Like we often forget, we treat the guys like, oh, you're just a sperm donor. Oh, yeah. Your stuff doesn't matter. But in reality, it matters a lot. So when we talk about holistic fertility, I'm talking about like we want to talk about you both as a couple, assuming you're in a relationship. If you're we have a lot of single moms by choice too, so there's nothing against those women. In that case, the guy is irrelevant because you're getting a sperm donor.
Well, I like penis, so I definitely need the man. Okay, so I want to do it the regular, the old-fashioned way, as some people would say, right? What is the number one question that people, or mostly women, would ask you about fertility?
I think I think everybody wants to know, like, how can I get pregnant quickly, right? Like, how can I make it happen yesterday? It's not even like, how can I do it right now? Just like, can I make it yesterday? And unfortunately, there is no magic bullet, right? Like, no one is gonna, if someone comes on and says, if you take this bottle of pills, you're gonna be pregnant, run the other direction, because that shit ain't true. It's not happening. So,
well, I guess I should throw out a few bottles of stuff I bought. All right, good to know. And one thing with even fertility, right? Because like you said, it's a whole body, it's a few things that's combined. But one of the things that always comes up for me and many other women over 35 is age. Does that play like a huge factor compared to everything else?
Yes and no. So I am a believer that age is somewhat of a thing, but in reality, most of the studies that are coming out now and in the last 5 years actually say that there is only a 3% decrease between women aged 25 to 29 compared to women aged 35 to 39. Only a 3% decrease in fertility rates between those two age groups. So in reality, I think that a lot of what science, media, like everyone keeps saying, oh, at 35, that's it, you're done.
It's over.
It's over. You're going off of a cliff and it may never come back. But in reality, that might not really be true. So my perspective is really like customizing the approach, right? I have seen women who are 20 years old who have low ovarian reserves, and I've seen 44-year-olds with amazing numbers of eggs in their ovaries. So really, like, for me, it boils down to, what do your blood test results look like? And let's base it on logic and science rather than basing it on some random number of age. Which I do think
you're starting to make me feel better, because girl, right now I try, when I walk with my leg closed just to make sure I keep the last 2 eggs that I have left. Okay, that's how serious it is for me. I look amazing, but I'm up there in age. I just look good as hell.
Yeah,
So
you look really young. I have no idea how old you are. So
yes, and you won't.
The other thing is also like so many women think, oh, because I look good and I feel healthy, my fertility's fine. And
Mhm.
I've literally seen 20 to 25-year-olds who have more fertility issues than my average 40-year-old.
Wow.
So it's really like we need to have a different conversation about fertility beyond the age thing, because age is a factor, but it's really not the determining factor of what's happening with your fertility.
Well, thank you. I'm not paying you for any of this advice right now, right?
Nope.
So you're saying so certain tests that women can take to find all these things out.
Yes.
Because you,
Yes,
okay.
there are tests for this. So there are 4 major tests that I recommend every woman take at least once a year. If you're over the age of 40 and want to conceive, I would say every 6 months.
Go ahead. I have my notebook.
They are FSH, follicle stimulating hormone.
FLH.
FSH.
Okay, you are writing this down, right? Good. Okay, go ahead.
And actually, I can give everyone a cheat sheet if you like. There's an easy place you can just go and download everything. So FSH, estradiol, LH, which is luteinizing hormone, and AMH, anti-Müllerian hormone. So these are the 4 tests together. A lot of people, especially people that are already trying to get pregnant, they'll be
Mhm.
like, "Oh, my AMH is really low." And I'm like, "What are your other numbers?" And they don't know. They're like, everyone's so focused on this one number, and that number alone, again, doesn't tell us anything. It's really the context of all 4 of those numbers.
So you have to take all 4 tests, not one of the 4.
Yes.
And this is this covered by insurance, or this is test that you have to pay out of pocket a lot
If
of
your
time?
doctor is willing to order it, it will be covered by insurance. The tricky part is your doctor going to be willing to order it? um, So if you tell them that you have been trying, if you're under the age of 35 and you've been trying for over 12 months, or if you're over the age of 35, you've been trying for at least 6 months and you're not able to get pregnant, these tests will be covered by insurance.
Okay, so
How
okay.
they determine, like, you say, yes, I've been trying, like, I'm not telling you to lie, but I'm just saying.
Mhm.
If
Hmm.
you've had consecutive months of unprotected sex and you're still not pregnant, these tests should be legitimate things that your doctor can order that help us understand what's happening with your fertility. The second thing that I'll say is that most doctors will interpret those results from the Western medicine perspective, which
Right.
means that the ranges for what's considered normal, I'm putting all of this in quotes, by the way, what's considered
I see
normal
that.
is very different from what I would consider normal for a good, healthy, natural fertility cycle. So, um, the cheat sheet that I'm talking about, maybe we can give a link to everybody that's listening.
Yeah, I could
Uh,
definitely do that.
it's holisticfertilitycenter.com/cheat sheet. That's my cheat sheet of where hormones are optimal, not what's considered normal. So it differentiates, like, what you see on a lab result. Your doctor calls you and says everything looks great, you should be fine. And then you look at my optimals and you'll be like, oh, maybe Dr. Ohm is gonna say this is not normal.
Right. Oh,
um,
that's good.
yeah.
And when it comes to like freezing eggs, like because a lot of people say you're trying to not wait till you're 40, like some people, right? And you're under 35. Is that something like a lot of people should consider doing, or do you have a lot of clients that ask you about that?
So the good is egg freezing is amazing. The fact that we can pull eggs out of your body, freeze them literally, like they're on ice for 5 years, 10 years, to be able to help you get pregnant later in life. Like, let's say you're 25 and you know you're not going to want to get pregnant or have a baby till 40, this is a really good idea, right?
Okay.
The bad side of it is there's almost little to no education on how to optimize the quality of those eggs. So let's say you freeze 20 eggs, but 10 of them are shit quality and the other 5 are just never going to fertilize. You pretty much are working with 5 eggs, which is not giving you a really great ratio of
Oh,
having a
really?
successful pregnancy. And we have the stats on this is 1% of frozen eggs actually turn into babies. 1%. So for
So
something
after
that,
I spend thousands of dollars, you tell me 1%?
yes.
I
So
cannot buy a baby with all the money I spent to freeze eggs.
yes. So freezing the eggs is wise if you plan for it, if you really like what I suggest, if you're like, I absolutely need to freeze my eggs, is work on egg quality before you go and freeze your eggs,
Oh.
and work on a healthy lifestyle for the next 10 years while you're postponing your fertility. And before you go and use those eggs that you have frozen, do whatever you can to optimize uterine quality, because your uterus is what's going to hold this baby and carry it for 9 months till you have an actual baby. So the uterus health or uterine health is just as important as the egg health. And you want to optimize both on both sides. So freeze before you freeze those eggs, make those eggs really good quality. And then after you, or when you're ready to implant those eggs, make sure you're working on the uterine health before you try and go get pregnant.
Well, after talking to Dr. I have decided to adopt, okay? Because this sounds like a lot of work. But
It's
with that said, I want to share one of Dr. videos about how tampons and pad can hinder fertility. So I know where all you're putting in all your vagina, but all you need to listen to this video because you might not want to put it there anymore. So we'll be right back with Dr.
I wanted to share something really exciting with you today because I'm passionate about this, and I don't know, I've been having a lot of conversations with my patients that I think it's important for y'all to know too. So one of the biggest contributors to toxins and chemicals in our bodies is glyphosate. Now, if you're eating organic food, you've eliminated a lot of the glyphosate that can go into your body. However, if you continue to use tampons or pads that are non-organic, guess what? You're still getting glyphosate. And that glyphosate is going right into our reproductive system and wreaking havoc on not only our fertility, but overall our hormones. So regardless of whether you're trying to conceive right now or you hope to have a baby in the future, you really got to pay attention to this and try and remove the exposure to glyphosates wherever possible, right? So the first thing to do is switch to organic food. But the second and probably the more impactful thing is to get rid of tampons and pads. So one way a lot of patients are resistant, they're like, oh, I like my tampons or I like my pads. And I'm a believer that wherever possible, we can help support the environment. So I'm a fan of like getting rid of disposables anyway. But there's actually a few benefits of things that you can make changes in your life pretty easily. So one of those is period panties. And I don't know if you know of this brand, Thinx, Thinks. Thinx, actually. Sorry about that. Thinx with an X. I came across them probably like 7 or 8 years ago. I switched over from using pads to period panties, and I love them so much. Like, I love them. They're comfortable. They make having a period a lot easier. So that was a really big plus for me. But when I realized that our exposure to glyphosate is really high from using pads. I was really glad that I had switched over and stopped using those pads and tampons a long time ago. But recently, I feel like I've been having a lot of these conversations, and I'm trying to educate my patients as well as everybody else in my tribe to move away from using these toxic products, especially when it comes to our reproductive system.
Welcome back to the Mss Francois Show. Now, some of you women have to go in your cabinet and throw out your tampon and your pads, and maybe you need some period panty. Whatever you need to do if you want to get pregnant, you need to do what you need to do. Right, Dr.
Yes. Yeah. So the amount of glyphosate, which is the compound that's mostly sprayed on cotton, that's the most sprayed plant with glyphosate. We're putting it right into our reproductive area. I can't even
That's so
believe it.
crazy. Like when I saw the video, I was like, oh my God, things we don't know. And we've been doing this for years. And it's normal. No one thinks of these things, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure people learned a lot from the video. We're here with Dr. Aumatma. She's been on Fox, she's been on CBS, she's been on ABC, and now she's on the Mss Francois Show. So she's here to make sure you get pregnant. And yet, we including the guy too, but you know, we women like to focus on ourselves. So Dr. One of the things is I wanted you to discuss the 5 tips to support fertility that you won't find on Google.
Yes. So let's start with what should we start with? Let's start with food, since that's a good foundation. In terms of food, you want to eat a nutritious diet that has a variety of different vegetables. So our goal is 30 plant foods in your diet every single week, 30 different plant foods. I've been trying to do this myself. I'll be really honest. It's pretty challenging.
No.
And you can count everything that's a plant. So you can count your beans and lentils and rice and nuts and seeds if you eat nuts and seeds. But the majority has to be vegetables. If you're not eating vegetables, there's going to be a problem. So eat your vegetables, eat a variety of different vegetables. Don't just eat kale because you think and you heard somewhere that it's super healthy for you.
I've been living off a kale for the last week, but thanks.
Yeah, so get a variety. I'm also a kale lover and I could eat kale all day, but I like walk into the store and I'm like, oh, just bought kale last week. So what is it going to be this week?
Okay.
So always switch it up, different foods all the time. Second, if you can eat organic, eat organic. If you can't, go to ewg.org. It's a nonprofit. Every year they do some testing to figure out what are the 12 dirty foods that you should never eat non-organic. That means you go to a restaurant, don't order those foods because chemicals are being sprayed, y'all. And
God.
it's easy. So you can just carry around this little wallet card, put it in your wallet. If it has those ingredients, don't order that at the restaurant. If you are in a shopping place and you're trying to figure out what to get, you're like, oh, this is organic. It's 3 times more expensive. If it's on that dirty dozen, pay the 3 times more expensive. It's worth it. But if it's not on that dirty dozen, then it's not that big of a deal and maybe get the less expensive kind. So, you know, it can be reasonable. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I have to do everything organic. It's getting so expensive. I can't do it anymore. We want to make it doable.
I see you making me take out a mortgage. I had to take out a loan just to get pregnant. I tell you, I don't think I want kids no more, you know, but thanks.
Oh, it doesn't have to be that bad. I think I like to make it like this is doable for everybody. And if you know, I always tell patients like, listen, if this is getting too expensive, you let me know, we'll work through it. So there are always other options, and there are ways to do this even on a tight budget. Foods. Other than that, you want to eat lots of omega-3 fatty acids and lots of fat in general. So if you're trying to conceive, fat or cholesterol is actually the building block of all of your hormones. If you don't have enough cholesterol, you're not making hormones. So you want to make sure that you're getting good, healthy fats.
And what are some examples of good healthy fat?
Avocados, fish, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds,
Okay.
and then all the different oils. So flaxseed oil, hemp seed oil, olive oil, coconut
Okay.
oil. Get a variety. Again,
Okay.
variety is key. So don't do the same oil on everything. Try to get a
Okay.
variety of different oils.
Got you. Check.
Yeah. And then cutting out alcohol and marijuana. So
Oh, me can't smoke my weed. Nah.
and even for your partner. So I literally have guys that will, before they sign up to work with us, they'll be like, "No, we're gonna need to talk, Dr. Om." And I almost always am like, "Oh, I know what this is gonna be about." And he'll get on and he'll say, "Do I have to cut out my pot?" My answer is always, listen, pot is not always the worst thing ever. But there are a lot of studies that show marijuana decreases sperm motility and morphology. So if you have an issue with your sperm, we're going to tell you to cut out the pot. But if you don't have an issue with your sperm and the sperm look amazing, then we're going to leave it alone. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have any judgments. I'm good. I'm accepting of all different lifestyles. But alcohol on the other side is an absolute no for women. So alcohol, I jokingly say alcohol is probably worse than marijuana for women, and
Wow.
marijuana is worse for men. So if you have a question about it, that's where I would go with that. And
Okay.
then coffee is debatable. So for most people, I think coffee is probably okay and you can get away with small amounts of it. But if you crave coffee or if you can't function without coffee,
Mm-hmm.
take it out of your life. Say goodbye. Because if you can't function without it, that means your adrenals are so depleted that they don't make the hormones that they need to function. So if you're like, hey, I can go through days on end without any coffee intake, then you're good. Have
Okay.
a little cup every now and then, no problem.
Does tea,
But
tea equals the same thing, or tea you have to take out too?
tea is actually okay, and actually I have a tip on that. So if you can do green tea, you can actually take your green tea bag, have the first cup, which is going to have lots of caffeine in it, and then the cups later through the day, you're just going to re-steep the same cup, the same bag.
Okay, so far this is the only thing I'm saving money on is tea because I could reuse the same bag. Okay, noted.
But that as your caffeine in the tea gets diluted, the antioxidants are increasing. And green tea
Interesting.
has amazing amounts of antioxidants. So you're actually doing a disservice if you're not re-steeping that tea throughout the day.
Okay.
The first cup is going to have the most caffeine. By the time you get to cup 3, you're going to have the most amount of antioxidants.
Okay, noted.
And then as far as like black tea or something, I think it's okay. I would say anytime you rely on caffeine to the point where you can't function without it,
Mm-hmm.
then start getting worried. If you're like, I have a cup here and there, I won't die if I don't have caffeine, then it's fine.
Okay, so the 5. So how much is? Tell me the 5. Say what the 5s are. The 5
So we
things.
talked about food, we
Mm-hmm.
talked about alcohol and
Okay.
marijuana, coffee, coffee and green tea. Number 4 is sleep. So sleep is way underrated, but sleep is one of the best ways to improve our fertility because we have a hormone called melatonin that when we're getting good, healthy sleep, actually supports egg quality. So melatonin is a hormone that we produce when we're sleeping. And that hormone is naturally going to help support egg quality. So you're going to make better quality eggs just from sleeping well.
Good. After this, I'm going straight in my bed. I'm going to fix that immediately.
And if you're getting good, healthy sleep, you wake up in the morning feeling rested. That's usually a good sign that your cortisol is also in balance. So cortisol has been shown to deplete fertility. If you have too little or too much cortisol, that's going to cause issues with your fertility. So having that, like, you fall asleep easily, you stay asleep through the night, and you wake up in the morning rested, that's
Okay.
usually a good sign that you're benefiting your fertility.
Okay. My eggs. No, my egg from 2, I went up to 3 eggs. All right.
And that's perfect. What you just did right there is the 5th tip, which is getting your hips moving. I am not kidding.
A girl like Trinidadian, we could whine, roll, jump, all of that. So I always roll in my hips. I should be
Yep,
pregnant by tonight.
yep. Soca and reggae are my favorite music. So making sure that you're whining is a really great way to support fertility, because you're supporting blood flow and circulation to the uterus and ovaries, which is really important. So if you find yourself like you're sitting most of the day, you're sitting on your butt and you're not moving around a lot, spend 10 minutes a day dancing. Like, that's a really great solution to getting blood flow and circulation to those organs that need it.
Okay, so this is a shout out to my Caribbean people. Make sure you're whining and you're rolling and you're jumping. Enjoy yourself, because right after that, you're getting pregnant. You see, that's why people like to go to Trinidad for carnival. Every carnival, they just jump, whine, and everybody's sleeping with everybody. We're going to figure that out the next morning. Okay? Everybody in Trinidad pregnant. But it's been so so I just want to repeat the 5 things. So just repeat the 5 things for everyone.
Yep. So we talked about good, healthy food, coffee and or alcohol and marijuana, coffee and tea, sleep, and whining.
Whining. Roll your hips.
I can actually say that. Most of the time, people are like, "What are you talking
What
about?"
you talking about? Wine? You need to drink? You just say alcohol no good. But this has been a very informative segment, and I'm so happy I had you on. So when people want to reach out to you, can you tell us, like, through social media or website, how can they reach out if they need your help?
Yeah, the best way to reach out is social media. On Instagram, we're holistic_fertility_doctor. So holistic fertility doctor on Instagram, and our website is holisticfertilitycenter.com.
Awesome. So don't worry, I'm going to put all that at the bottom so you all could definitely go there, and you're going to be thanking Miss Francois because I helped get you pregnant. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Aumatma. Just remember, when you all need to check out the Mss Francois Show, the multi-talented and super sexy host, check me on all social media, because remember, Miss Francois is always saying exactly what she's thinking. Okay. See you next time on the Mss Francois Show. Bye. Say bye, Doctor.
Bye.